These are tonight's top stories. A police investigating burglary in Sandy Point. The Department of Labor conducts inspections aimed at addressing economic and social issues. And Essence of Hope Foundation hosts 7th annual Walk for the Cure. The details to these and more coming up right after this break. Welcome to the ZIZ Channel 5 Evenings Newscast with Via Galloway, your presenter. The Department of Labor continues its efforts to safeguard the health and safety of the workforce by conducting two types of inspections, namely labor and the social inspections that seek to ensure that employees and employers abide by the labor laws of St. Kitts and Nevis. During the most recent edition of Working for You, Acting Labor Commissioner Shernal James explained the two types of inspections while also noting their importance.
The labor inspection, what we'll call, it's an occupational safety and health inspection. We go into the workplace to ensure that there are no violations in terms of safety and health. The social inspection deals with the social aspect of the worker, his terms and condition of work, his numeration, and all those that is necessary in terms of benefits, etc., that is due to the worker. So we carry out social inspection, we look at the books, we ensure that the employer does not violate any provision of any of the Labor Act.
The Acting Labor Commissioner said that during the inspection phase, the department pays close attention to whether the employer pays the employee above minimum wage level or at the minimum wage level. She said it is done to ensure that all activities in relation to the employee's benefits are carried out competently. James also noted that the Department of Labor works closely with the Social Security Department, where inspections are carried out to make certain that the workers' rights are respected. She said although the inspections are vital, the Department of Labor has encountered issues.
With regards to some social inspection, when we carried out, we will realize that one, an employer would be paying a worker below the minimum wage, which we advise them immediately to cease and to pay in accordance with the Act, and to pay all outstanding wages that were denied to that worker based on being paid below the minimum wage.
The Acting Labor Commissioner said that with regard to occupational safety and health inspections, the Department of Labor ensures that a number of characteristics exist in a workplace. These include proper ventilation, the proper illumination of exits, and that the bathroom facilities are present and in proper working conditions. The Royal St. Christopher and the Nevis Police Force is investigating a report of burglary in Sandy Point last week. According to reports, the incident occurred at about 3:55 in the morning in Backway, Sandy Point. Reports also revealed that an armed assailant entered the virtual complainant's home demanding money. The report also indicates that the resident complied, giving the assailant an undisclosed sum of money. The assailant then fled the scene. The scene was processed by the crime scene unit. Investigations are ongoing. And coming up after the break, the Department of Community Development and Social Services celebrates the 96th birthday of a Newtown resident. And the Essence of Hope Breast Cancer Foundation hosted its 7th annual Walk for the Cure. We'll tell you more when we come back. Welcome back to the news. A sea of pink covered the island's main road on Saturday at the Essence of Hope Breast Cancer Foundation hosted its 7th annual Walk for the Cure Race for Life event. The foundation's Walk for the Cure Race for Life fundraising event attracted thousands of participants who were seen warming up before the walk began. Employees, their friends and families took part in the event in a bid to raise awareness of and support for the fight against all types of cancers. The exercise is aimed at raising funds to assist cancer patients in St. Kitts and Nevis. The crowd of supporters met at the Caribbean Cinemas parking lot, where the walk began and walked towards the F.T. Williams Highway, along the Kim Collins Highway, and then the third roundabout in the Frigate Bay area, where breakfast and refreshments were served. The Essence of Hope Breast Cancer Foundation is a non-profit organization organized exclusively for charitable, educational, and scientific purposes. The foundation was officially launched in October of 2010. And as the month of the elderly activities continue, on Thursday, October 20, staff of the Department of Community Development and Social Services visited 96-year-old Ruby Thomas, a resident of the Newtown community, to acknowledge her birthday during the month's celebrations. ZIZ understands that her birthday coincides with the distribution of hampers by the Seventh-day Adventist School. The distribution of hampers is coordinated by the Seventh-day Adventist Church and had been included in the schedule of activities held in commemoration of the month of older persons, which falls during October. At the home of Miss Thomas of Pitcairn Street, Deputy Director of Social Services Ann Wigley chaired a brief ceremony congratulating her for attaining 96 years of life.
And I know in church on Sunday, you came to church for your blessing.
Yes,
and it was so good that you were able to come to church and get your blessing.
Yeah.
Okay, Sister Ruby, so we continue from the government and people and also social services to wish you all the best, and do hope and pray for your prayer that you will make your century.
And the two students from the Seventh-day Adventist School were on hand to present the senior with her food hamper and extend birthday greetings. Social Services Home Care Officers Andrea Keynes and Venetia Wharton, who see to the day-to-day needs of Miss Thomas, also attended the ceremony and presented her with her food basket. The 96-year-old credited God for allowing her to live for so long and demonstrated that she can still do math calculations.
Well, thank the Lord for sparing my life to see I reached the age of that. My mother died when she was 45. She went to get an operation and she said, Ruby, I'm going to get an operation and I'm 45 years old. I said to her, Mom, am I going to live to come to your age? She said, darling, everything is in the hands of the Lord. And praise the Lord, I reached it and passed it. Amen. And I am happy about it, to know that I'm going hard for 100. Yeah. 96. 4 more years from now will be 100.
Mrs. Wigley acknowledged several young men in the Newtown community of whom it was told have been keeping a protective eye out for Miss Thomas. And coming up, new Attorney General in St. Lucia takes the oath of office. Stay tuned, we'll be back. Looking further afield to the regional scene, and in St. Lucia, newly appointed Attorney General Attorney Stephen Julian was sworn into office on Thursday morning. HTS Miguel Favory has the details.
I, Stephen Cyprian Jr. Julian, do swear that I will faithfully bear true allegiance to St. Lucia.
Stephen Julian has previously served as the island's Consul General in Canada. He has also chaired the National Telecommunications Regulatory Commission and St. Lucia National Lotteries Authority, and most recently served as a magistrate. He replaces Kim St. Rose, appointed under the last administration, now taking up the position as Special Advisor to the Prime Minister with oversight of constitutional review and reform. Delivering a 3-minute address to attendees, the new AG acknowledged that understaffing remains an issue. He highlights the office of the DPP as one department where the situation is particularly acute, having a severe impact on productivity.
It is for this reason that I will depart from the usual protocol for these proceedings and use this forum to make a special plea to our Honorable Prime Minister for the allocation of these and other resources for the aforementioned departments, which collectively form the Attorney General's chambers, as we all agree that the functions which they perform are essential to good governance.
The Attorney General has also vowed to encourage greater synergy between the AG's office and government departments, organizations, and special interest groups wherever their interests intersect. Meanwhile, Prime Minister Alan Shasney echoed Julian's sentiments. He says for the sake of transparency and good governance and ensuring that St. Lucia is a viable destination for investment, the rule of law is critical.
And it's not to say that we're only upholding or presenting the rule of law, but we're upholding it. And it's perceived by all and sundry that the government and the people of this country hold that in the highest esteem. And it's our intention as a government, as difficult as it's going to be in the upcoming months and years, to be able to find the resources to make these things happen. This we must do. And I give you the assurance, and I give Your Excellency the assurance, and I give the people of this great country the assurance that we will find the resources wherever we have to search to ensure that we can deliver good governance to the people of this country.
Prime Minister Shasney expressed gratitude to the Attorney General for accepting the appointment at a critical juncture in the island's legal and judicial systems. Miguel Favre, HTS News Force.
Attorney General, except as may be required for the due discharge of my duties. So help me God.
Coming up, Madagascar drought leaves the thousands desperate for food. We'll have the details when we come back. And now moving further afield, the UN is warning of a humanitarian catastrophe if more aid does not reach Madagascar. A drought in the south has left more than 850,000 people in urgent need of food. Al Jazeera's Victoria Gatenby has that story.
People dig for water to drink and wash with. This riverbed in southern Madagascar would normally have water at this time of year, but the change in weather patterns as a result of El Nino has left it dry. It's the third consecutive year of drought in the south, and the UN says half the population don't have enough food. 60-year-old Fiamina was hoping to harvest cereal crops this year, but the only thing that's grown are cactuses. Her family are living off berries.
We gather red cactus fruits and remove their spines, but this causes sickness. All of our neighbours are also suffering like us. Usually we grow maize, pulses and cassava. If only it was raining, we'd be happy.
This year's harvest was down by up to 80%. That's caused prices to rise. At this market, the cost of vegetables and maize has almost doubled since last year. Cases of malnutrition are also rising. In 7 districts in the south, more than 500,000 people are in desperate need of food, up from around 200,000 last year. The World Food Programme says it only has enough money to help around half of those in need.
Even if we have contribution now to bring foods in Madagascar due to the vessels which are not available, so it will take 5 to 6 months. If we will buy locally, it take also 2 to 3 months. So the challenge is now how to get food to the population.
Farmers in Madagascar will start planting new crops next month. The World Food Programme is warning that the effects of La Nina, the flip side of El Nino, could result in flooding, further exacerbating crop damage and food shortages. Victoria Gatenby, Al Jazeera.
And up next in sports, under-20 Sugar Boys compete in final round of CFU qualifiers. We'll be back with the sports. And in sports, the St. Kitts and Nevis men's under-20 national football team faced Bermuda in the final leg of their quest to earn a spot in the 2017 CONCACAF Under-20 Championship in Curacao. Unfortunately, Bermuda beat them 3-1. That should be SKN 3-1. The first round of the qualifiers was held in the Dominican Republic in June. While competing in Group 4, Team SKN lost to the Dominican Republic by 2-1. The team beat Jamaica 2-0 and went on to defeat Dominica by 4-2. The Under-20 Sugar Boys play Antigua Barbuda on Sunday, October 23, and Curacao on Tuesday, October 25. The semi-finals for the CFU grouping between the winners and runners-up from Groups A and B are scheduled for October 28, with finals slated for October 30. And England stretched the unbeaten run to 8 matches with a goalless draw against France in Doncaster. The visitors dominated the first half, but England defender Lucy Bronze went closest, heading wide from a free kick. France's Sandy Toletti forced Karen Badsley into a save with a long-range strike, but England failed to work keeper Sarah Buhadi. Tony Dogan had a late goal ruled out for handball for the Lionesses, who have not beaten France since 1974. Matt Sampson's side has not scored against the French in their last 4 meetings, but can take heart from a solid defensive display, leaving the opposition with limited chances. England's last defeat came in She Believes Cup in March when they lost 2-1 to Germany. They then went through 6 Euro 2017 qualifying games without a defeat. The next friendly match is against Spain in Guadalajara on Tuesday, October 25. Bill Murray crashed the White House press room on Friday to talk about his beloved Chicago Cubs. The actor is in Washington, D.C. to accept the Kennedy Center's Mark Twain Prize for American Humor on Sunday, which could present a conflict if the Cubs' series against the Los Angeles Dodgers reaches a Game 7. The team needs to win one of their 2 games at Wrigley Field to move on to face the Cleveland Indians.
Bill Murray recently popped into the White House press room after Press Secretary Josh Earnest wrapped the official briefing and talked about his beloved Chicago Cubs winning the World Series. Murray predicted his Cubbies will ultimately defeat the Los Angeles Dodgers in the National League Championship Series to advance to the World Series for the first time since 1945. I feel very confident that Clayton Kershaw is a great pitcher, but we've got too many sticks, Murray told reporters, who played along calling him Mr. President. According to CNN, the actor was really at the White House to receive the Mark Twain Prize from President Obama.
That's how we conclude sports. When we come back, we'll have another look at the stories that made the headlines. And now to recap the top stories: police investigating burglary in Sandy Point. The Department of Labor conducts inspections aimed at addressing economic and social issues. Essence of Hope Foundation hosts 7th annual Walk for the Cure. And finally, Colombians are literally kissing each other for peace as they've taken part in a kiss-off or kiss-a-thon, as it is commonly known in Bogota, in support of a halted peace process between the government and the FARC rebels. Here is more.
Colombians have taken part in a kiss-off in Bogota. People gathered in a town square to support a halted peace process between the government and FARC rebels, after a peace deal was narrowly rejected by voters in early October.
Una protesta que tiene el centro como lo afectivo, no es, digamos, solamente una protesta contra, sino a favor del amor, y lo que se ha convocado es un espacio para que nos encontremos, las personas que quieren llegar, están llegando ya algunas personas, y pues tiene la idea de respaldar el enfoque de género en los acuerdos de La Habana.
The country's leaders are committed to proceeding with talks, and negotiations with FARC rebels are ongoing. For a peace deal, these Colombians are hoping to seal with a kiss.
Engine ignition. Lift off.
If you don't represent women in politics.
Well, that concludes another edition of the ZIZ Channel 5 newscast. Thank you for joining us. I am Via Galloway.